I am here in one of my favorite spots because today we're going to be talking about fences. It's been a little while since I've been with you, and that is because I just got back from a mission trip to Africa. And I've been on several mission trips, and I think I say this every time I get back, but I think this might have been my favorite mission trip. One of the things I love about going into another culture are the things that the people in that culture take for granted. It's just a part of their everyday life. And to me, it seems so interesting and different and fascinating. And the one thing in Africa that just really struck me was we were driving along the road, and when we got out of Nairobi, out of the middle of the city, there were cows and sheep and goats just walking along the side of the road. Not in a field on the side of the road, but actually walking along the side of the road. And there are trucks and vans and a few cars driving at 60 miles an hour. And there are those sheep. And with those sheep, there was always a shepherd. And as I was watching this happen and trying to get a good picture of it, I kind of didn't because we were going so fast. But it struck me that there weren't fences. And it also struck me that those sheep and those goats and those cows, they didn't need a fence because they had a shepherd. And that, of course, got my brain moving. And it got me thinking about our shepherd. And also about fences. The fences that we build. What is the purpose in a fence? A fence, yeah, it might make us feel safe. It might make us feel secure, but it also separates us. It defines our boundaries. It limits our freedoms, and it doesn't just separate us from another piece of ground, but it separates us from other people. We might be defined by our fences, but by defining ourselves by our fences, that also means that we are defining ourselves as different from someone else. I think fences also make us feel safe. I know that in Africa, as those sheep and goats were walking along the edge of the road, I thought, how unsafe for these cars to be going by so fast. That fence would make us feel safe, but it would also limit. It creates boundaries. Our space is closed. Our opportunities are closed. Those fences that are made to make us feel safe actually limit us. But that's why I love that thought that we don't need fences because we have a shepherd. Those sheep on the side of the road in Africa, they didn't feel afraid. They didn't feel nervous because they lacked a fence, because they knew who they were following. They were following their shepherd. In John chapter 10, verse 3 and 4, it says, the gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep recognize his voice and come to him. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. After he has gathered his own flock, he walks ahead of them, and they follow him because they know his voice. They won't follow a stranger. We get afraid that we don't have enough boundaries. We get afraid that we don't have enough parameters. What if we steer off track? What if we get too close to a cliff? What are we going to do then? The only problem is if we hide behind our fences and we stay safe behind our fences, we don't have the opportunity to hear the voice of our shepherd, to recognize what he's saying to us, because he's not going to let us wander into the middle of the road. We can trust him. We know his voice. We belong to him, and he is going to guide us just exactly where we need to go. We don't need to be so tightly bound. He gives us freedom when we follow him. I love the way John chapter 10, verse 3 says it. It says that the gatekeeper opens the gate. When we follow Jesus, we don't follow him behind a fence. He opens up that gate for us. He opens up everything for us. He gives us freedom to walk out from behind those things that restricted us, that kept us bound, that kept us in. They might have made us feel safe. But when we follow him, he is what makes us feel safe. Trusting him, knowing his voice, we don't need those fences because we have him as our shepherd. I'm so glad to be back with you, and I'm so thankful that you joined us today. If this was meaningful to you at all, if you enjoyed it at all, I'd love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Facebook, but definitely check out debbiedark.com. You'll find links to all of that there. We'll see you next time.